Now we're going to take a beef tongue, the beef tongue that I have here. It's very common to eat tacos, for example, tongue tacos in Mexico. That's a very well-cooked tongue, which really comes apart with guacamole or green sauce or mashed potatoes or whatever. What we're going to do is we're going to take the tongue, but in the way we cook it at the restaurant, we always try to use another product, I mean, that you can use that you can eat in any taqueria, which you won't generally find in a good restaurant. But what we're going to do is going to take this tongue. Now that tongue, I mean, there are different means of cooking it. What we do here with this tongue is, first of all, we put it in a brine. That is salt water with sugar as well. And we leave it to soak 24 hours. So we have this mixture of water with salt and sugar. That will cook it to a certain extent. It's the salt that will cook it. And that will penetrate into the tongue. When we cook the tongue, it will make it juicier. We leave that 24 hours in that liquid, and then what we do afterwards is you cook it in a normal sort of pot. You can put it in a pressure cooker as well. In a normal pot, it will take 3 or 4 hours, depending on the size of the tongue. If you put it in a pressure cooker, maybe 45 or 50 minutes will be enough. And what we do here is we cook it in a thermal circulator. We leave it 24 hours there in a thermal circulator. This is the result. A very tender tongue, very juicy, as you can see. The water here comes from the brine. And here we have our tongue. It's warm. We're going to put it in the frying pan in order to brown it a bit. And then, so what do we do? Then we take these bit of tortillas, we roast them, or we toast them, and then we take these others that give it sort of a carbon flavor. I mean, we're going to heat the coal, and you always end up with this sort of coal or charcoal flavor. So we take the tortillas, then we toast them, and we make a mixture. And then we grind it, and we end up with this sort of ash, something that looks like ash, which is dark. It's a very pretty color. We do this with a lot of charred tortillas, but after a while, that one can get tired of that bitterness. So now we'll use 5 or 6 tortillas that have simply been baked in one charred tortilla. That's more or less the proportion. And then we're going to put our tongue into this tortilla ash. We're going to add a simple green sauce, which is very easy to make. You take these small green tomatoes, you remove the skin, the peel, and then you put them in a blender with a bit of garlic, of onions, coriander, and pipicha. I haven't brought any pipicha, but that's a sort of herb that grows around Puebla and around Mexico City, and it tastes a bit like radishes. It's rather bitter. It is a bit spicy, peppery. You see, you have these green tomatoes set on a chili, onions, garlic, and half an avocado. We also take some vegetables in brine. These are carrots. The brine is another means of cooking. It's vinegar and water. I mean, there are many different sorts of escabeche. There are people who add sugar. We don't. Simply white vinegar and water, 50-50. And then we add bay leaves, oregano, garlic, and onions. We let it boil, and then we turn the heat off, and we put the vegetables in. There are people who don't use water at all, just vinegar and sugar. So what do? We cook that, and then we have these vegetables, carrots, green beans, and small onions, and also some charred onions. And those are the ingredients for our dish. Now, since we have our tongue here, we're going to take the charred tortilla, and we're going to sort of bread the tongue with that. And this is the result. And then we're going to slice it. You can see the color you get for our tongue, and then we're going to put that on the plate with a bit of green sauce. Those recipes are very easy. In fact, you can make them at home, and thus you can enjoy this typical Puebla cuisine. That's the green sauce. We add tongue. Do you like tongue? And we add a bit of olive oil, salt, and here we will add our vegetables in brine. Slices of small potatoes. Here we have small green chili in order to enhance the flavor of our tongue. We have some chives. Here we have radishes. And a bit of coriander. Some more olive oil. Now we have our second course. It's beef tongue with charred tortilla crust and green sauce. I hope that you enjoyed this recipe and that you've learned something new.